Hey y'all, Chef Prof Rick here. It's good to be with y'all. We're going to have some fun today with my sous chef Henry here, and we're going to make a little bit of chocolate fondue. It's incredibly easy, as you'll see. You won't be seeing much of Henry because he's behind the camera, but we'll say hi. We'll do a little selfie here. Henry is my sous chef.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. He's helped me prep this thing, and so this is a fairly simple thing. To make chocolate fondue. There's multiple recipes that you can find on the internet. It's basically just dairy, either cream or milk or both, and chocolate, and then a little flavoring. So we start by heating up the milk and the cream. So this recipe calls for a half a cup of cream and a half a cup of milk. We'll get that happening. And so while that's heating up, we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do later. So I should say that the tools for this can be done. This can be done in a double boiler. That's the simplest way to do it, or safest way to do it. Not a bad idea if you haven't cooked a lot to do double boilers. It can be done in a sauce pot like this. So this one seemed a little big to me, so I'm actually doing it in an aluminum frying pan. The main thing is that we don't want it to burn or stick or anything. So, but we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll use one of these whisks. I'm not sure which one just yet. Whisks are very good friends to have. So we'll let that heat up for a little bit, and I'll talk to you a little bit. So when it's done. It's delicious, yummy thing to do, and there's all kinds of things people will dip into it, right? A lot of times, so the classic thing is some kind of a fruit, like strawberries. I love raspberries would be fun too, right? Bananas, just a little bit of pineapple here, right? Cookies, right? Cookies. And if you're really a chocolate fanatic, you can actually do an Oreo. There's a double chocolate for you that way, right? And Rice Krispie treats, good cookie also. So whatever your heart desires, right? You do you. It's fun. It's a fantastic dish that way, right? It's really good to use a very high quality chocolate with this. Okay, it's worth the money. So I like Ghirardelli chocolate. There's many other brands out there too, but the better the chocolate, the better the fondue. That's how it's going to go. So we're going to start with 8 ounces of chocolate. These are 4 ounces each. And then we'll see, we'll see if we might want to alter that afterwards, but get these out, ready to go. I gotta stir it. So this is starting to get bubbly a little bit, so we want to stir that a little bit. I don't want it to burn. So at this point, you can actually start putting in the chocolate. Try to break it up into pieces so that it'll melt well. Very good stuff. This is very high quality chocolate. All that money that I save by not buying high quality wine, I can buy high quality chocolate, right? So think of all the pluses. So this is going to want to stick a little bit, so I need to be careful not to let it get too stuck. I've got about half of it in there right now. I'm going to lower the heat a little bit. So as I think some of you have heard me talk about before, there's a difference between baking and cooking. Very few people can do both really well, in my opinion. I'll be honest with you, I'm a better cook than I'm a baker. But one of the big differences is that, when you're a baker, you can't really do a little of this, a little of that. It's much more of a chemical thing, right? When you're a cook, you can see how things are going and adjust, right? So I'm going to tell you right now, this chocolate is going to cause me to adjust a little bit by adding some milk, because I could tell already that it's going to be too full. So I did not even measure that milk. But you know, the principle is like, you know, what texture are you going to want in the end? You know, and you could, you know, and there's some people who prefer the lightness of milk rather than cream. So people will go that route and you use all milk or half and half or something. There's lots of ways to do it. I think all cream would be a bit much for me, even though I like things heavy, but that would work as well too. So there's a, you know, a little of this, a little of that will work in this kind of a dish pretty well, I think. So I'm going to turn it way down now because I'm just going to let it cook for a little while. And at this point, I've got, I'll be honest with you, I've got about 6 ounces, we'll go 7 ounces of chocolate. And I think I asked you to buy 8 ounces, so there you go. My bad. But again, it's like, how does it look for you? I'm still feeling like it's going to be a little on the thick side for me, so I'm going to, and a lot of this is a function of how the chocolate matches up, right? This is really expensive chocolate, so it probably goes a little further when you're doing it. Ooh, look at that. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yeah. Now we're talking. So we'll just let this. I feel like just a little bit more liquid is going to be better. Then I think we'll let it sit for a wee bit. The only other ingredient in this particular recipe is vanilla extract. I'll actually measure it for you, even though I don't usually do that. It calls for a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm gonna go with that. Stir that up a little bit. All right. And voila, there it is. Chocolate fondue. You can pour it into a, once you hang with me just a second, Henry, I'm going to get a bowl to put it into. Just when you thought you had everything organized. So pour it into the bowl. Ooh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And then comes the fun part. So I'm gonna try a Rice Krispies. Ooh. Mm-hmm. So good, so good, so good. Now let's try a strawberry. Mm-hmm. So good, so good, very good. The chocolate, I gotta tell you, I'll give you, because I'm an historian, as many of you know, chocolate, we owe Latin America for the invention of chocolate. The cacao tree originated in Ecuador, made its way to Mesoamerica very early on, thousands of years ago, became huge in the Olmec tradition, which is the oldest Mexican tradition, then the Aztec and then Mayan traditions. Also, they thought it was holy. It was related to the gods. It was a drink that was ritually consumed. Europeans discovered it when they came over. They brought it back to Europe, and then it wasn't until the early 19th century they started making bars of it like this, right? That's when it went through the ceiling with that. Between that and the sugar they got from the Old World, the New World. That was huge. So big history behind the use of chocolate. We can thank Mesoamericans in particular for this wonderful invention. So hopefully that was simple for you, and I'd love to share it with you sometime as well. And otherwise, have a great holiday. Thank you very much.